We have a lot of history here with Buona Restaurants and the original Rainbow Cone ice cream shop. So why don't you share with the audience here how it got started, 3 generations ago here in Illinois, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty humbling to be a part of the company and the growth over the years. One of our strongest core values is family, and to be a part of a family business that I believe is their 43rd year in business is it's pretty exciting and rewarding. My grandfather and grandmother, they had a dream to put their children in business, and in 1980, my grandfather took a second mortgage out on his home, and I believe the amount was about $10,000. And he gave his 5 sons the $10,000 to start a small Italian beef stand located in Berwyn, Illinois. Actually, I'm right across the street from the original location right now.
Wow.
Yeah, and they worked hard. They were the workers. They were open till 3 o'clock on the weekends. Never a day off. Really built up a great reputation. Our Italian beef we feel is the best in Chicago, and we had a great following. That morphed into doing a catering off-premise business, and then opening up our second location about 7 years later. 7 years later after that, they opened their third location, and then from there was steady growth over the years.
Wow. And did the whole family work in the business full time?
Oh, great question. So two of them did work full time in the business. The other two had families at the time, so they had other jobs for insurance purposes and such.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my other uncles was 12 years old actually, so he rode his bike to the restaurant after school, and him and my grandfather would close the restaurant every Friday night together. So, yeah, all hands on deck.
Did everybody get along okay?
Oh yeah, everybody got along great. It's a great, one of the great things about my family's business is that no matter, what the conversation is, no matter what the outcome is, when everybody leaves the room, everybody's on the same page.
That's great.
In fact, I just left the meeting at 11 a.m. and there was some difference of opinions, and we all had lunch right after. So, one of the healthy things about our business is that we love each other, we respect each other, and that's how we do business together.
And it has been able to sustain 43 years in business, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what came first then? Obviously, the Buona Restaurants is the core, or I should say, when did original Rainbow ice cream come into play?
Yeah, it was actually an opportunity that kind of fell into our lap. In 2016, we opened up a Italian bone of beef restaurant on the south side of Chicago in the neighborhood of Beverly. And there was it had to be almost 90 years at the time, an ice cream shop that was been in business for that long.
Wow.
And it was another third generation owner that actually approached our family. And, it's an iconic brand. It's 5 flavors stacked on a cone. It's really unique, one of a kind, great following. But her dream was to grow the brand. And she wanted to partner with a family like ours that could help her do it in a tasteful way, where she would remain on to help, with the as we enter new markets and really help tell the story. So it's been a great addition to our company.
There's so much history and so much legacy here. I can only imagine some of the challenges as you decide to dive into franchising, because it's like you're inviting people into your home and being part of your family.
Yeah. Speaking of the roundtable discussions, it was a discussion for quite some time. And we found that as we grew out of our core market, we met a lot of individuals with great operating experience that really needed a playbook and a strong brand to continue their success. And we know in our hearts that the long-term growth of our company is through franchising as we enter these different states across the nation.
Sure. There's a whole new generation now of Buona Restaurant operators to continue that legacy, right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm very optimistic about what we're doing. We've partnered with great people. They share our vision for not only what we do on a daily basis, but the long-term growth of the company. Smart people that we can learn from as well. And I couldn't be happier with the group of franchisees that have entered our company at this time.
Yeah, it's not very common that somebody or a family or an entire company has has as many company-owned locations as you all have had before you dove into franchising. I mean, you have 35 corporate locations right now, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
now 35 franchises open, all in the Midwest. We got Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, I should say, and now Florida. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Right? I'm sorry. Three are in the Midwest and plus Florida now, which I'm excited about since you have a location in Sarasota and Key West coming up.
Key West on deck. Yep. Any day.
Nice. So take me back to that decision point for you guys, for your family and for the team, because there's a lot of emerging founders that are listening to this podcast or watching, and they're thinking of franchising their concept after being in business for a while. Take me to that point that where it intersected, where we said, this is the strategy where we want to go next after being corporately owned for so long.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, COVID was the leading cause of our decision to franchise. We really recognized the strength of our brand during COVID. You know, other restaurant operators, unfortunately, they had other challenges than we had. Our biggest challenge was human capital during COVID, and how you go and open up new stores in a challenging labor environment when we're running, this corporate structure where I'm in the office 3.5, 4 days a week, only in the stores 2 days a week. And how do you continue to make sure you have elite operations on a daily basis, right? So during the discovery in 2022, we went through all the legal process and hired some consultants, a company called iFranchise, great people, great partners for us. They really gave us the confidence to go and franchise, given where our core competencies were. And, the human capital element is what we feel franchisees in those local markets will bring to the table. Mm-hmm. So that was really, if you block out some of the other conversations we had,
sure,
that was it. Where human capital meets a playbook, a strong brand, strong menu, they can go and operate at a high level in their market. Where if I'm in Chicago trying to develop stores in Texas, Arizona, Florida, it would be a little bit more challenging from a human capital management standpoint.
Yeah. And you must have had all the systems and processes are in place because you guys have been doing this since the 80s, before you were around.
Yes. And honestly, that was probably one of our biggest differentiators amongst our competition is we were ready for something like that to happen. Mm-hmm. We had all technology conducive to operating in an environment like that. Suggested ordering, third-party delivery integrations, a sophisticated online loyalty program. So we were kind of ready for something like that, and we prospered during COVID. So that was the confidence we had in what we're doing on a daily basis. Now, how do we partner with operators that have skin in the game in these other markets to not only be as successful as we are, but perhaps exceed that success as they develop stores in places like Dallas and in Phoenix, etc.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group, LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.